everyone, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Thanks for tuning in, especially our friends from Koforidua listening on KTU Radio. Coming up, some individuals receive payments for new domestic debt exchange bonds after government released 2.4 billion cedis for settlements. Also coming up, Ghana's expected agreement with external creditors in the coming weeks shows the country is on track with the International Monetary Fund program. We'll tell you why. Plus, some local firms unhappy with the state of procurement processes in the country, describing it as a canker. Details coming up. My name is Darryl Kwao. Happy to be with you this morning. First up, some investors have started receiving payments for the new domestic debt exchange program bonds after government released some 2.4 billion cedis as coupon payments for these papers. Here's George Afe.
Holders have told Joy Business that they got the alerts on their phones yesterday evening. One of them says all the amounts expected have been paid in full. The payments cover some of the bonds that were exchanged under the domestic debt exchange program at the end of February this year, with coupon payments due yesterday. We are also learning that some of the firms have received their payments for these new bonds that they were holding. Government has given the firm assurance that it will work hard to meet the coupon payments that are due on all these new bonds that were issued under the domestic debt exchange program in the coming months. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta believes this will go a long way to restore market confidence and aid in the stability of the economy in the coming months. We also understand that some 5.4 million Ghana cedis has been released as payment for coupons on bonds that didn't participate in the domestic debt exchange program.
George Afe with that report. Ghana's expected agreement with external creditors in the coming weeks shows the country is on track with the International Monetary Fund program. That's the position of Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in the US, Williams Pepper. According to him, Ghana seems to be returning to financial stability. UK-based Economist Intelligence Unit in its recent report indicated that Ghana had advanced with its negotiation for external debt restructuring. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Pepper said Ghana should convince China to restructure all of the about $5 billion of its loans.
To be glad to see China also accepting to a deal like this because they are also seen as our external creditors. It will really help us because, as we know, about 5.something billion are held by China, which is very significant in the debt that we are holding. So they also accepting to an exchange or a debt exchange program will really support our economy. It gives some confidence. It points to the fact that probably the IMF strategies or guidelines are being complied with, and Ghana may seem to be coming back on track to see a financial sustainability.
Williams Pepper is Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University. Now, some local firms are unhappy with the state of procurement processes in the country, describing it as a canker. According to businessman Abraham Amwakuhine, measures should be taken not to suppress the operations of small businesses by bigger firms. He's urging the Ghana Revenue Authority to embark on appropriate measures in the collection of taxes from local firms.
Procurement in this country has gone way wide. That all that big companies or multinationals, all they gain is filling a document called purchasing order, and you take this PO. You as the small, medium-sized company have to go and look for money, borrow today around 40%, and do the work, deliver to them, and you have to wait 30, 60, 90 days before they pay you. In other words, you have to wait till they sell their goods or their services before they pay you. Who is financing who? Small companies financing big companies. And what even kills us is immediately you deliver and install your invoice, they take that invoice, they also will jump at you, they want their VAT immediately, even though you have not received the money.
Abraham Amwakuhine is a businessman. Now, even though smallholder farmers are optimistic of bumper harvest in October and November, they have, however, appealed to the government to put in place measures to transport food from the farm gate to the markets. This, they say, will reduce the cost of transport and help set competitive prices for consumers. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, said a negative shift in any of the variables could influence pricing and could cause farmers to lose.
the various regions, the rice growing areas. I think now that they are applying fertilizers, harvesting will start somewhere October, November. But even with that, I mentioned cost of production. One cost of production goes up, even if supply increase, it's going to be difficult for farmers to sell it at a loss. If they have to sell it at a lower price than the current price, means that they have to sell at a loss. So I don't expect to see any significant reduction in prices within the.
You heard Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Charles Nyaba. Now, the approval of the takeover of Aker Energy by African Finance Corporation in Ghana has been described as one of the significant major acquisitions in the oil and gas sector during the first half of the year. That's according to the African Energy Chamber. The report indicates that the transaction is pushing Ghana into an oil and gas investment hub among other oil exploration countries on the continent. Here's more.
The African Energy Chamber State of African Energy Quarter 2 2023 Outlook Report unveiled significant strides made in Africa's mergers and acquisitions sector, with announced and completed transactions already surpassing the $1.85 billion mark in the first half of 2023. These figures are indicative of a thriving economic landscape that defies conventional expectations. Key contributors to these impressive transaction volumes are the announced sale of Angolan assets by Galp to Somoil in February and the takeover of Aker Energy in Ghana by the AFC. Additionally, Malaysian NOC Petronas exited Chad, finalizing the transfer of its stakes in oil fields and export pipelines. The analysis of transactions reveals a shift in trends, with Angola, Ghana, Chad and Morocco emerging as key transaction hubs in the sector. Meanwhile, the government of Ghana recently approved the plan of development for the Pecan field, which originally belonged to Aker. This is expected to be a flagship project for the new owners in the country.
Moving on, over 40,000 entities and individuals in agro-processing and cosmetics are benefiting from the West Africa Competitiveness Program by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. The support, which includes quality of products and technical assistance on value addition, aims to help these beneficiary firms get easy access to the international market. Speaking to journalists at the second Ghana International Cluster Conference, Project Manager Ebe Mushwali hinted that the majority of the support has gone into quality standards.
Companies are working together, they are partnering with technical institutions, with universities, and they develop products, they become more competitive. A big chunk of the work has gone into standards and enhancing quality and making the SMEs compliant to what the market is requiring. So thanks to this, now the companies, we have assisted more than 43,000 companies throughout the country, and thanks to this now they can have products that are conform to the market, to what the market requires, and they are now selling in some countries in Africa, in East Africa, in South Africa, but some of them are also accessing the European Union market, which is a top-end market, especially for cosmetics.
The Ghana International Cluster Conference forms part of the initiative to showcase innovations of industrial clusters in the cosmetics, foods and cassava value chain. Now, honey-based startup J24 Foods Limited, founded by Judith Akos Atama, is tasting sweet success from her production facility in Accra. She supplies 600 outlets across the country as the demand for honey soars. The Joy Business Van tells her story today.
Hi, Joy Business One. I'm Judith Akos Atama, the founder and CEO of J24 Foods. Welcome to Honeywell. J24 Foods started close to 10 years ago. During national service, I happened to run into some business idea. I was posted to Forestry Commission. We went for some inspection in one forest reserve. I met with the forest manager who introduced me to beekeeping. Honey is not our only product. We do coconut oil, we do hibiscus tea, and then we do palm oil. So, but honey is the one that brings in the money. Yes, so we do on the average all the sizes. You do on the average 8,000 to 10,000 bottles in a month. We want to reach every part of this country.
All right, so do tune in at 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, at 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel as Judith Akos Atama tells her story. Also going to get insight into bee farming. Before we go, a look at the currency market as we conclude. The dollar going for 11 cedis 43 pesos on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 14 cedis 78 pesos. The euro going for 12 cedis 45 pesos on the commodity market. Crude oil trading